As I sit here on my balcony, looking out at the mountains, I remember being a small child just yesterday. I grew up in the small town of San Ignacio de Acosta, about an hour away from San Jose, Costa Rica. I lived there until the age of 5, when I was taken to the U.S. The people from my hometown are mostly farmers and businessmen, like Costa Rican cowboys. I would tell my Grandpa Tito how much I miss my father and how much I wish to be in that amazing country of America. America, the land where my father lived and always spoke of. My maternal Aunt Lorena, who took care of me until the age of 5, would always say that I would say that one day I was going to America with my father. I missed him so much. My grandpa loved me from here to the moon, and all he wanted to do was put a smile on my face. Therefore, when I would get sad, he would change the subject by saying, "Come on, we need to practice our English." When I got to the U.S., my father took us into a whole new world of history and art museums, the D.C. Zoo and the Baltimore Aquarium. Our jaws dropped in amazement as we saw things we had never seen before in our country. When I lived in Twin Brook, Maryland, the park was so close to my house, or to the apartment, my mom could watch me from the place we lived in. At Twin Brook Elementary School, my first grade teacher pulled my hair one time. She pulled my hair just because I couldn't understand what she said to me in English. As she pulled my hair, it looked like her big bug eyes would just pop right out of their place with flaming anger. And then I realized, just like when the light bulb in cartoons show up, ding, 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 enlightenment, I must learn English. It was so humiliating and embarrassing to have this happen in front of all my classmates. So my number one priority was to learn English. I watched my favorite childhood shows like Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Fat Albert, Thomas the Train, Rainbow Bright, My Little Pony, Care Bears, and He-Man and She-Ra. After 6 months, I felt I had the power of Grayskull and was producing the language. My mission was not to ever get my hair pulled like that again in front of so many people. She had always had a witch-like demeanor. Poor old lady. I think she was just too old and tired of teaching. She probably should have retired long ago. I remember once at a family dinner, one of my aunts asked my cousins and I what we wanted to be when we grew up. When she got to me, I said, "Dennis." She laughed and said, "How do you even plan on going to college if you don't even exist in this country?" It felt like a low blow. I was a very innocent little girl at the time, but I knew an offense when I heard it. I remember feeling rejection and felt like she wanted to make me feel bad because I was illegal, and she did a great job. I felt humiliated because I remember thinking, what do I say to that? It's true. Exactly nothing. I just looked at the ground with sadness and embarrassment. I thank my parents for teaching me hard work and responsibility at a young age. They themselves were hard workers. I thank my dad for teaching me the value of $1. My first job ever was at Chuck E. Cheese at the age of 15. I was illegal then, but at the time I was able to get a job without being asked for a work permit or green card. I remember I was planning to buy myself some clothes at that stage in your life when you're all about looking good and finding your identity. When I got my first check, I went running to my dad to show him with a heart full of pride and joy that I worked and earned my own money, a whole entire paycheck. Although my plans of getting a cute pair of blue jeans was ruined, I was proud to contribute to the household bills, as he took my first check and said, "Thank you. You are going to use it to pay a utility bill." And it was so. Now I would like to fast forward in time to read on how it is not easy to speak about ourselves, and even more so about the things that make us hurt. But if there is purpose behind it, then it makes it all more worth it. I personally have tried on to continue with my life and without having to bring up these things. They have had such a negative impact in my life. Either way, I know that these things are in our subconscious and never really go away. They hide pretty well, but come out with triggers like people, sounds, and situations that bring them up. On some occasions, like a fire that stirs up mixed emotions and causes us to act out in a state of fear. And as most of us know, acting out in fear is almost never good. I hope this letter can cause awareness and open doors for new laws that will help my fellow veteran brothers and sisters, as well as myself. At least there will be knowledge of the awful things that some of us go through. later finding yourself in a really bad, helpless mental state. This state is nowhere. You lose yourself, your dreams, your goals, and all you want to do is disappear. It's a place where there is no reasoning nor clarity, only much, much pain. I want to help cause awareness not only on what happened to me, but what has probably happened to many of my fellow deported veterans. In particular, my mental health issues that I've had to deal with. I am a victim of MST, which stands for Military Sexual Trauma. This happened to me in Germany. I was drugged and raped. The worst part of it all is that to this day, it is hard not to think that I had fault in it somehow. I should have never trusted a complete stranger, nor gone in his barrack, later to be drugged and taken advantage of. This made me feel worthless. My symptoms became worse when I was deployed to Iraq. I was deeply impacted by the war, and in particular the outcome of suicide bombings. So many innocent women and children dead or nearly dead. These horrible scenes have changed my mind and even the way I perceive and see things. After coming back from Iraq, I began to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol, which led me to another awful incident in which I was arrested by Baltimore County Police Department for being a rape victim, discouraged from pressing charges, and even had a gun pointed to my head by one of the officers. The scariest thing was that the people who were supposed to be the heroes were my worst enemies. They finished stripping me of what little pride and dignity I had left. With this said, it is very difficult to be the same person. After all these things, I am not the same Laura I once was.